This is the median individual income in the US in the last 10 years. And this is how much it costs to get an education in the last 10 years. It's been constantly said that having a college degree pays off, but where? It costs on average around $75,000 in student debt to get an MBA. The price is similar for other, less important or even totally useless degrees like mass media or liberal arts. Regardless of where you stand on canceling student debt, one thing is for sure: there are better ways to spend that money besides chasing an increasingly low-value degree. Welcome to Alux. Now, before exploring the alternatives for student debt, let's answer the most obvious question first. Does having a college degree increase your earning potential? Well, universities will tell you that bachelor's degree holders earn around $1.2 million more in their lifetime compared to those with just a high school degree. But of course, it'd be weird for them to tell you otherwise. After all, they need to make money from you. If you look in the actual market or at independent studies, the reality is quite different. In fact, around 36% of workers with a bachelor degree earn more than those with a master's degree. That's because more organized education doesn't really equate to more money. In other words, having a more important degree doesn't mean that you'll get rich easier. There are high schoolers earning more money than master's graduates. Higher-end education in social sciences has come to a point where the only way to repay your loan is to enroll in an MLM scheme. The only available job is teaching others how to do it too. Here's something to think about. There are, on average, 7,600 archaeologists in the US. Out of all of them, 5,100 of them are professors. There are more archaeology professors than people actually practicing archaeology as a job. There are almost 3 million psychology graduates in the US, but only 82,000 of them working as actual psychologists. In other words, only 3% of psychology graduates actually work in the field. So, to answer this question, no, a college degree doesn't automatically mean an increase in your pay. Even more, throughout history, getting a loan to pursue higher education had different values. Student loans were first introduced after World War II to help veterans attend college for free or extremely cheap. Later on, federal student loans were introduced to help any promising student attend college. In the early 90s, getting a student loan was an investment. You always got way more than you paid for. But by the 2000s, college became more of an experience. Student loans were highly accessible, and most people got them just to experience going to college. At the same time, though, student debt was starting to slowly build up, now standing at almost $400 billion. But by 2012, that debt had already passed $1 trillion. College became more of an insurance. You attended because, why not? Better to be safe than sorry. But in the present time, where the total student debt in the US is sitting at $1.6 trillion, college feels more like a country club. And you have to pay an increasingly high membership rate just to hang out with the cool kids. It has nowhere near the same value it used to have when it was first introduced. You know, only 5% of people applying to Harvard get in, but 98% graduate. You see, getting in is the difficult part, but once you're in, everyone graduates. So if your higher education can be treated as a verifiable investment or an experience, it may make sense to pursue it. But with all of this said, what's better than going into debt for a college degree? Individual education in the right industry. There are two major forms of education. One, organized and conventional. These are your high schools, colleges, and universities. They start and end at a given point and are also organized around the lowest common denominator, meaning that everyone should be able to finish them regardless of their skill level. And two, individual and long-lasting. These are your courses, books, talks, trial and error, side hustles, businesses, and so on. They start when you decide to start, and they never stop. They can be free, accessible, or highly expensive. This type of education has a direct correlation with your chances of success. The more involved you are in your personal education, the further you will go in life. The World Economic Forum estimates that by 2025, 50% of all employees will need reskilling or upskilling. And ironically enough, one of the most important skills for the future is education itself, or more specifically, active learning. There are more and more new things to do, and fewer people that know how to do them. And that's why we're so adamant on self-education here at Alux, and why we built our courses and our app. Go to Alux.com and check them out, they're really good. But besides that, we also mentioned something about being in the right industry. You see, just because you're passionate and work hard, it doesn't mean you're entitled to a big payday. Not all industries are created equal, and they keep changing every 5 to 10 years. Right now, programmers are better paid than digital artists. But there will be a point when programming will become a commodity and creativity will take its place. As a matter of fact, the World Economic Forum puts creativity above programming for 2025. Now, that's not to say that programmers will become extinct in 3 years, but it's important to be aware that the right industry changes constantly. So, how can you hit the right industry to increase your chances of success? Well, there are 3 ways you can do it. 1. By luck and various circumstances. Because, sometimes you just happen to be in the right industry. Good for you. 2. By predicting what's the next right industry. And you do this by following where smart people put their money. We've been noticing a lot of shifts toward green energy and climate change. 3. By getting really good at adapting. You do this by learning how to learn. So when the time comes, your ability to adapt and break through an entirely different industry is way easier. Now, this approach applies regardless of your position. If you're about to enroll into college and that decision may not be entirely your own, we can respect that, but that doesn't stop you from pursuing your own self-education. If you finished college and are now paying off your student debts, well, first of all, hopefully you got a breather from the student debt cancellation. Secondly, now it's time to actually start your education, and you are free of student debt, so all the better. Now, next, let's talk about the first few steps in your self-education path just to get you started. So, number 1, find your right industry. You don't have to be in the industry from the start. Take a few hours of your time and try some things out. Everything's got a free trial. You can probably even attend live surgery under the right circumstances. 2. Find thought leaders from your industry. In every industry, there are those who preach and those who follow. Find those who preach and become a follower. 3. Use these thought leaders to curate knowledge for you. A business detailed course from someone who sold a $100 million company will be infinitely more valuable than every business school combined, regardless of the price. And just a note on this, people sometimes wonder why they should pay for information that is free. But you're not paying for free knowledge. You are paying for speed and efficiency. Walking is free, but you're still hopping in that Uber. We personally spend thousands of dollars every year on different forms of self-education, including courses, books, talks, one-on-ones, and so on. Sometimes it's to confirm a theory, or to find specific knowledge, or to get a piece of information that we could have learned ourselves, but we need it faster. There's always something to gain. We've got a dedicated budget for it. You can start smaller than that. So, to summarize here, getting a student loan makes a lot of sense if it's an investment or an experience. But nowadays, college is more like a superficial security net or a membership to the country club. Your traditional higher education doesn't have a big impact on your earning potential. That's because industries keep changing, and there's an increasing number of degrees which either are or about to become redundant. Self-education will always outperform traditional education because you ultimately learn how to learn, which is a top-tier skill for the future. It's also infinitely cheaper. Being in the right industry is more important than how well prepared you are, which doubles down on your ability to self-educate. Now, Aluxer, we hope you found some value in this video, and as a thank you for watching until the end, we've got a bonus for you. We mentioned in the intro it costs around $75,000 to get an MBA, but what if we told you there was a way to get the same or even better level of education from literally a fraction of the price? Well, a little while ago we made a video called 15 Books That Are Your Personal MBA. The combined knowledge of those books is enough to compete with what you would learn in a traditional MBA program. The only difference is it costs like 1,000 times less than an actual MBA. You can even start for free by getting one of those books through our partners at Audible. Go to Alux.com/freebook and start your education journey today. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Aluxer, for the Sunday motivational video.